Okay, hello, Marcus Garcia again for assignment 4. I have my VHDL up and I got my test bench all set up, but first thing I want to do is, since this is kind of a difficult thing to reset and I want to ensure that everything's like shown here, I think it's important like I show like I have my input TXT and my assignment 4 results TXT here in the folder. This is the correct one. It's definitely the right one because I've done this a few times. The input, I'll pull it up, show a column of inputs here. They're integers, right? And the assignment for results is blank. Okay, we're going to put inputs there. Now, the thing that was most difficult for me in writing this was well, with the variables, I didn't have these as integers in the original part. I'll pull it up here. A lot of the examples kind of threw me for a loop here because here they just put them into standard logic vectors, and I was getting a lot of bad inputs, bunch of unknown variables whenever I got my output. It was reading everything and running everything, and I got all the lines done, but I wasn't getting any values because it took me a little while to figure out, well, here at the end, they're putting all their inputs in their text as binary. So I was like, okay, well, if I'm starting as integer, I'm gonna have to do a conversion. So I slept on it, came back to it, and that's what I figured out. And once I implemented that here, everything worked out good. So I set these up as integers. The multiplicand, the multiplier, and the measured out are all integers. And what I did was I read them in. I read in the multiplicand and I read in the multiplier and the space, right, as integers. And then each of these, I converted them to standard logic vectors and then threw them into the inputs of the multiplier to drive the values. At which point they went through and came up with a measured out. And for the measured out, I wanted to put it back. I didn't want to put binary in my assignment for results. I didn't want this to write binary to it. I wanted it to write integers. So I had to take that standard logic vector from the ZTV and I had to change it back into an unsigned integer, which I did here. So some of this stuff, I don't really think it took me a long time to figure out. I knew what I needed to do once you know the pieces fit in my brain. But once I found a good site, and I'll put the link in my report for it, it was a really good page for conversions, and it really spelled out all the different conversions you can do. So let's go ahead and run the simulation. Everything should work. If it doesn't, I'm gonna cry. Just kidding. So yeah, we have, okay, so here in the waveform, we've got our values. We'll just go to, look at whatever one we've got here. 7 times 8 is 56, and that's, 3, 8 in hex. So that's good. Now, if I want to go check my files, we can go back to the assignment for results, and it's not blank anymore. It's got all this stuff in there, and you can tell just by looking at it, you got all your zeros, and then you've also got all your ones to the 15, and then all your twos and threes. So I can tell just by looking at this that we're good. All I gotta do now is put it all into one file. Hopefully an Excel file is good. I'll convert it if Canvas doesn't take it, but I'll have all 5 columns in one file for upload and grading. So yeah, that's it. That's the whole thing. I didn't put the test pass string in there. I hope you don't hold that against me too hard. But it's good and it ran, and I got to run for all this time. So taking your advice. So thank you very much, and see you tomorrow.